I'd been planning a canoe trip down the North Saskatchewan River from south of Nordegg to Drayton Valley or even beyond for many years. And finally, when my son was 17, we decided to take this trip together. And there was a lot of planning, forethought, interviewing people, a lot of preparation. And this was our trip.
You got the takeoff. Bye.
And now we begin our journey down the river.
Here we are. We chickened out in this tiny little rainstorm and we set up camp, which was rather embarrassing. For about 20 minutes. And then the rain stopped and it wasn't raining much. And now we're back in the water and it's just beautiful out here. We're moving at a good clip here. We're not even paddling. It's only about 2.5, 3 feet deep, but we're making good time. Here we are at our first stop. We stopped to dry some stuff out. We hit some rapids at the gap. Yeah, so some of our clothes got wet. Mine anyways. Steven did pretty well. A little bit of his sleeping bag got wet. But we're fine. We probably had an inch of water in the canoe. So we were bailing that right away. And no complaints. Weather's good. There is a bit of a cloud coming in up here, but not worried. We have a good tent. We could even camp here if we had to, but we likely won't have to. It's raining, but we're still good.
This is one of many pipeline crossings we spotted on this trip.
First camp out. First night, we found a good place to set up the tent. But we're next to some nice running water, as you may be able to hear. We had some rain earlier while we were paddling, but it wasn't that bad.
The next morning we caught our first glimpse of other canoeists out on the river, so we knew we weren't alone. And the moment we left our campsite, I turned around because I heard shouting and I see these two huge canoes full of people, probably 14 people each. And they were stopping at our campsite. We didn't know who they were, but you'll see later that we meet up with them again. We decided to stop for a break when we saw this anomaly up the hill, maybe a couple hundred feet. It was probably a 45-degree slope. So we stopped and decided, well, let's climb up there and have a look at it. Because we didn't know what this thing was or where it came from. And when we climbed up there, we discovered it was an old railroad car that had been pushed over the cliff.
It is, yeah.
And there used to be a rail line at the top of the cliff, which is now just a road.
Bye. Have a good
See ya.
Day 2, supper time. We just had probably the worst chili I've ever had in my life. Out of the can, but we added spices and stuff to it, so it wasn't bad actually. And we just had some kind of, I don't know, canoe tour, carry their canoes from here down a channel that basically has no water in it. And that was rather funny to watch. So we're just chilling out here to eat supper. And then we're gonna do some more canoeing. Hopefully this cloud doesn't hinder our performance. And other than that, we're just so far enjoying the whole works. No problems. We've had a fair bit of rain, but once you're paddling and tarped over, it's not a big deal. And we can thank the Coleman stove.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's an awesome machine. We are about to go through Devil's Elbow. We just passed some rapids back there that were lots of fun. There's a house on the hill up there, and according to the book that I have, that's where the Devil's Elbow are, class 3 rapids. We're gonna try not to hit those, even though I know we've been through some back there, class 3s, but this one's supposed to be a doozy, so we're gonna stay away from it. So I'll report back on the other side. Just went through some rapids over there that were nothing. So I'm assuming that Devil's Elbow is over here, because so far we haven't seen anything we can't handle. Okay, we just finished Devil's Elbow. Maybe you can see some of it down here. It was pretty cool. We didn't go right through all of them. We went through some of them at the end, and I took on some water, so it was fun. There were some people camped on the corner too. They waved at us, probably thought you guys are gonna get wet, and sure enough we did. So anyways, that was fun. Now we're gonna find a camping spot for the night. Not too far from Devil's Elbow, we found a beautiful camping spot. It was so nice. We spent a lot of time just enjoying the scenery, listening to the river, fishing, sitting around the fire and walking around. And the beauty of this stretch of water from Nordegg to Rocky Mountain House is you can literally camp on almost every corner of the river. There's so many places, but this spot was a gem. If anyone has ever considered doing a river trip like this, and they're scared of the rapids, this river is mainly class 2 with the odd class 3. I'd never canoed in rapids before in my life. I've been on lakes and the Peace River, which is very calm. No rapids whatsoever. And we found this, I don't want to say easy. I mean, well, it was actually. You learn very quickly. You just keep your boat aimed the direction of the water is going, and keep it that way and you'll be fine. And I mean, if there's rocks in the water, you can see them ahead of time. You just steer around them. I just can't say enough about how amazing this has been. All right, this is the 3rd day, and we've packed up, cleaned up the campsite, and we're ready to go. It's got to be an eagle. As we approached Rocky Mountain House, we began to see evidence of civilization more and more. Okay, well, we just finished going through some rapids over here. Took on a little bit of water, but we bailed out. Steven's still bailing his end of the boat. Let's get a shot of that. Yeah. Anyways, we didn't really get wet, but we got some water in the boat, which is fine. It was fun. We're gonna walk into town and go to Tim's and go to Canadian Tire and get some stuff. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so here we are walking back to the canoe at Rocky Mountain House, and we've done 106 kilometers of utter wilderness paddling, and we see 2 deer the whole time, that's it, and 1 eagle. No bears, no moose, nothing like that. And walking down the sidewalk in Rocky, we see this, and then we're coming back on the bridge and we see this. So We have no idea why, but
That's so weird.
here we are, off on our next leg. We are done in Rocky. We saw more wildlife in town than out in the wilderness, which was weird. And we're off. Tough being a camera operator when you're in rapids. Good thing they're just small ones. No responsible canoeist would leave that behind. Now that we've passed a major municipality on the water, let's say, this is the kind of thing you start to see on the river. Hey, it's even a recliner. Okay, here we are. It's the night of day 3, and we are somewhere north of Rocky, probably about 3 hours of paddling north of Rocky. And it was tough finding a campsite. There was nothing. We found this spot, which isn't too bad. At least the tent is not on gravel or big boulders. A little bit of gravel would be fine, but this kind of stuff is too hard. So there's dirt up there, so we're good there. And we're making a fire. We have a small supply of firewood, and I hope that gets us through the night. I don't know. We have quite a distance to get to Drayton from here, but from what I understand, it's supposed to be a 2-day paddle, and that's what we're ready for. So we're just gonna enjoy a late supper here with the fire, and we'll see how it goes in the morning. Hi. Good, how are you? How far are you guys going?
The next morning, a group of ladies on rafts floated by, and it turns out they were also going to Drayton Valley. We passed them later on because they were just floating and we were paddling and making time, so we managed to catch up to them eventually. But it was good to see other people on the river. Juice! Day 4 was really quite hot with at times no wind, and even though we had sunscreen on, we were getting sunburned. Here's more evidence of people. This Jeep was probably stolen and dumped here.
Engine's still in it. Alberta weather, folks. Sunny and raining. Sunny and raining. There was a campsite in the trees over there. Not accessible by road or trail, only by water.
And I don't care what anybody says. Beauty like this is no accident. Somebody thought of this. Somebody built this. Somebody created this. At one point, we noticed a park bench up on shore, so we stopped to check it out. We wanted a break anyways. And it turns out it was a memorial to a guy that passed away a few years ago. He was only 50 years old, a family man. And his family set up this memorial for him with the bench and a guest book and a few words about him. So we stopped, signed the guest book, and we even sat on the bench for a while and admired Wayne's favorite spot.
Okay, so here we are on the night of day 4. Today was a very hot day, a little bit sunburnt. Found not too bad of a spot. It's not as good as some of the other places we had, but it's okay. We're right beside the river. Sounds very nice. And we're just sitting here chilling out. It's 10:15. The tent is way over there. It was the only flat spot on this whole island. We're on an island. It's huge. Huge island. And the wind was blowing so hard we decided we better stop. So we found this spot and we're staying here for the night. So hopefully we can hit Drayton tomorrow night. And my dad will meet us. And we can get some more supplies and then go a little farther after that. Here we are, morning of day 5. We had some rain last night. Middle of the night, a lot of lightning. But the rain was light. So it wasn't bad. Things were a little damp this morning, but no big deal. We're just gonna pack up. It's about 11:15. We're a little behind, but yeah.
So a few kilometers down the river, I spot this, what it looked like a black dog on the shoreline following us for quite some time. And I thought, oh, maybe someone's dog is down here and, you know, is friendly and wants us to pet him. So we turn the canoe around and we watch him. And pretty soon he jumps in the water and he swims towards us. But there's something about this animal that told me something wasn't right. Turn the boat a bit. It's just a dog. It's just somebody's dog. I don't know, but there's something about those eyes. Jesus, Stephen, that's a wolf. Once we were a safe distance away from the wolf, we spotted a campsite on the other side of the river. So we checked it out, and it had picnic tables, fire pit, and even an outhouse. This area might not look like much, but it's called Baggy Hall, former site of a fur trading post back in the day. Okay, so we stopped for lunch here, and we're probably 2.5 hours out of Drayton Valley. We found this cool spot with a fire pit. It's right by the river. There's a nice cliff face over there to look at. And these 2 4-wheel drives drive up with families, and they got their music booming. So clearly we're not that far from civilization. Yep. And this is Trevor and Bernie, another father and son pair going down the river. Where's the freaking canoe? Okay, we had a bit of a scare here. We had lunch up the beach, probably about 100 yards, and we finished lunch and a jet boat went by and the waves dislodged our canoe. So lesson number 1, pull your canoe far out of the water, although this is the first time we've had this problem.
I'm surprised, actually.
Anyways, we get out there and the canoe's drifting away. So we caught it, and it's here, and we're safe, and we're just gonna carry on like nothing happened.
Yeah.
I think that's a sluice box. And they're gold panning. Cool. No one would have believed it if we didn't have film, but we have a second wolf sighting. What are the chances of seeing 2 wolves on the same trip? And did you see him scale that cliff like it was nothing? We learned the weather forecast called for a lot of rain
So we decided at Drayton Valley that this trip was over.
Under these two bridges and around the corner, this trip is done. Hard to believe that all of that fit in there. All of it. And we are finished in Drayton Valley. High five. Job well done.
Yeah.
This was the trip of a lifetime. We saw and experienced so much that is not even reflected in this film. In the end, we did 5 days and 240 kilometers paddling on the river. That's something I've never done before, and I don't know if I'll ever do it again, but it was amazing.